DEIreads.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome back to my channel, My Life Perspective, where I give my intake on the perspective of the way I see things, but not necessarily how you should see them. So, in today's video, we are discussing the topic of women and male spaces. Women and male spaces is a very interesting topic for me to discuss today because a lot of times where that statement comes from is the fact that there are women who feel like they are inferior, oppressed, and not given a fair shot or a fair chance in the workplace environment when it comes to their male counterparts. Now, here's the thing, right? In the workplace environment where males and females are hired, there was a thing called DEI, right? Where they essentially hired people based off of qualifications in terms of whether the fact that you met the criteria, you had the skill set and the mindset to be a leader in a higher rate, upper rate positions, and at the same time, they gave those qualifications to people based on race, gender, or your sexuality, no matter what your background is, age, whatever the case may be, right? And they did that to give a fair opportunity to those people who felt discriminated against. And while I will say that in the long run, that obviously didn't pan out because of what the 47th president of the United States did to abolish that, or at least fight back against that and to establish policy against that. I'm not mad at him for that because the example that I'm going to talk about is procurably why people are against DEI, right? And diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the one thing that I want to talk about with these little instances of women and male spaces is you don't want to be talked down about. You don't want to be disrespected or discriminated against because of your gender. And I get it, right? You want a fair opportunity, you want a shot, you want to promote, you want a chance to be able to lead, to pretty much showcase your skills and what you can do, and obviously just have opportunity to become the best that you can be in that job, whatever that field may be. But what I'm seeing the TikToks, right? I'm seeing the Instagram posts, the YouTube videos, Facebook, shots of women, who are on these platforms, discussing or showcasing women in male spaces and pretty much taking shots at men, saying that anything a man can do, a woman can do better. Just using the platform to put women on a pedestal over men, right? And while I will say that I'm not for men putting down women just because they're women and not giving them an opportunity just because they're women, we have different skill sets, we have different mindsets, we have different beliefs, right? But I'll say this: if we can get on men about how men can discriminate against women, we shouldn't allow women to do the same thing, right? And I say that to say that it's a laughingstock and it's a joke when I hear these things of women in male spaces, pretty much trying to showcase that we belong, and and it's not them showing a good effort in terms of what they're doing, like for example the military. These women are on here, talking about, oh, look at me, going out here shooting, a rifle and I'm, qualifying a rifle or a pistol, doing really well. Look at me doing a swim test and hitting a good time, hitting a good mark, passing the PT test, ACFT, having a good time, and so on and so forth. Like the women that are actually doing those things, I noticed they're not posting women in male spaces and promoting that a lot, right? What I see is women, in uniform, um, twerking or doing something to showcase some sense of style or dress and appearance, and then with some type of flow of dancing with it, and on the platform looking silly, talking about male women in male spaces. And I sit here and say, well, you want people to take you seriously, yet you're on a platform making yourself look like a fool, right? You don't take the work seriously. You come on the platform, and this is not applying to all women, right? This is just to those that it applies to. You come on a platform, and then you try to demean men or demean people, saying, "Oh, I can do anything that a man can do," and whatever the case may be. And then when people call out these things, these behaviors, men are misogynist. Um, People shouldn't be criticizing. I have the right to express myself, and so on and so forth, right? But yet you want to be taken serious. And so I bring this instance up, right? The airline pilot for Delta Airlines. Now, I like Delta Airlines. I think they're a great airline company, and I think that with quality personnel, whether they be male or female, black, white, Italian, Hispanic, Latino, whatever, right? People who are qualified to do the job, that are best suited to do the job, deserve to be pilots, um, personnel who work on and fix the planes. People who deserve the job deserve to be in those positions, right? So when I look at the instance of what happened with this female pilot who's 26 years old, had well under 1,500 miles or 1,500 hours recorded, and I repeat that, well under 1,500 hours recorded, right? So obviously she didn't finish or complete what she needed to complete in order to become a certified pilot. She was, a former pageant, and hopefully she survived. Hopefully a lot of other people survived on that plane incident where that plane landed and somehow it just caught fire. And I look at the situation and I say, these are examples of why people are against DEI, right? This no divide or excuse me, diversity, equality, and inclusion rather. Those are examples of as to why people are against the women in male spaces, right? And it's not saying all women, right? But this applies to people like her, right? You come in and then you talk down about men, right? You talk down about why you deserve to be in a certain place, certain environment, and then you pull off one of these instances, right? Right? One, somebody might come in and ask, well, were you truly qualified for the job and the position? Two, there's a certain level of competency that you need that's required, and it makes you question, right? Was there something wrong with the plane, or was there something wrong with the pilot in that situation? Now, hopefully, in the situation, hopefully this wasn't too much of an aspect on her, and but then when I seen the the Instagram posts of people are promoting this whole idea of the women in male, pretty much women in male spaces, and her being in that video, and it's like you look at a situation like this, and it pretty much makes you look bad, right? And I say all this to say, people get tired of hearing about how oppressed you are, how you're not getting a fair shot or getting a fair opportunity, and then when you're given an opportunity, right? From what the article was saying or what the information was put out that was said about her, she wasn't really fully qualified. Somehow she got the opportunity in the position, right? And now it's an investigation of what went on and so on and so forth, right? I truly wish the best for those people that were on that plane. Hopefully all of them survived. I heard that there were some injuries. Hopefully she's okay. But we need to do away with this crap of women in male spaces and you know, trying to make it seem like, all men are in the space to hold you down and to eliminate your opportunity and take away your opportunity to be successful as women, right? Honestly, I've seen women who have actually who are a lot stronger than I am in CrossFit, bodybuilding, right? And yet, when I see them, right, I don't hear them talking about women in male spaces. I see them just going out posting videos of how they're performing, doing their thing, and I respect it, right? You can't take nothing away from them. You truly deserve that respect. If you're out there putting that work in, training hard, getting after it, whether that be in the gym and fitness, physical fitness, in your career field, as a police officer, military, doctor, whatever the case may be, lawyer, whatever the case may be, you deserve to be respected, right? But when you're out here, just trying to look pretty on camera, oh yeah, women in male spaces, and we deserve to be, respected, and you're making yourself look like a fool. What else have you accomplished, right? Right. I honestly think that you should post more of what it is that makes you stand out to promote that idea of, hey, yeah, I'm a female doing my thing, and so on and so forth, right? We shouldn't discriminate against women, but if you're out here, just posting the things that you post, making yourself look silly, right? And then you have instances like that. This is why people come at diversity, equality, and inclusion, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right? This is why people attack you for your gender or the things that you do. Right? I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying these you're giving people the fuel to that fire that you're promoting. Right? Obviously, in my honest opinion, when it comes to flying a plane, I've heard the conversations. Do you want somebody that's hired, based upon DEI just because they're black and they're a female, or they're a female, or they're black, or just because they're Latino, just because they're coming from another country, they're Indian, and say no. You want the best people, no matter what race they are, no matter what their gender is. That's gonna fly a plane. That's gonna get them there from point A to point B safely. Now, granted, malfunctions happen, things like that are out of their control sometimes, right? But that's why you hire the best competent and qualified people as much as possible, right? I'm not saying that males don't have this situation where males sometimes they get in and they're not qualified for a job either, right? We had that happens, right? But that's why you brought in DEI, because a lot of it was targeted towards white men, right? Let's just be quite honest and frank. A lot of opportunities, a lot of people felt like white men dominated the workspaces. They had all the opportunities. They weren't given, you know, the fair shots to everyone that truly deserved it. And while I'll say that I'm not truly against DEI if used the right way, DEI has been used to put some unqualified people in positions that they did not truly deserve. And that, in this case, an example, hopefully nothing worse happened on that plane in Delta Airlines, but this is an example of as to why we need to be aware of who we're hiring, right? You're constantly promoting women in male spaces. Show and prove that you deserve to have the job. Show and prove that you deserve to be where you're at. Don't go out here and, oh yeah, I got my job through diversity, equity, and inclusion, women in male spaces, and I'm out here online doing my thing, twerking or dancing, looking silly in uniform, and then you can't even do your job, right? The same way we would hold a man accountable, we also got to hold those people accountable too, right? So that's my take on this whole thing. I think it's annoying when I hear that, and I believe it's one of the most annoying things because I'm not saying this is not to be sexist or toward anything towards them. I truly admire women that can get out here, run, gun, and shoot with the best of it when they're out here doing their thing with men. I just hate the vibe that it just brings about too. Like you make it seem like all men are against you when that's not the case. There are plenty of men that celebrate you or even respect what you're doing. It's just a simple fact that you're on here. You got a few guys that make comment or say some things, and then now you're butthurt, you're in your feelings, and you're like, oh well, these guys don't respect us, so on and so forth. That's not the case. That's not true. And I truly hate the divide that men and women have in this society. Like I really wish we could squash the problem, find a way to make a happy solution. But because of all the propaganda, you know, the information that's put out, the way people are being conditioned in today's society, you have what you have today, right? But honestly, that's my take on it. The women in male spaces, my thought or my here's my take. If you feel like you truly deserve to be there, she'll improve it, right? No one's gonna care about you. The fact that you have your comments and you have women on there. Yeah, you go girl, do your thing. These men can't touch you, so on and so forth. And anything you can do better than a man, or whatever the case may be. Yet if a man were to go on here and to say some things, that were in complete opposite, right? And to demean somebody, though, to pretty much demean women, that guy's gonna lose his job. All right, so just treat everybody with respect, right? You don't want to be mistreated. You don't want to be demeaned. You don't want to be discriminated against. By all means, don't discriminate against others in that sense. All right. But that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching my channel today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you are new to my channel, you like my content, and you feel like you want to leave a comment and leave your opinion, please feel free to do so. And as I've said in previous videos, please take the time to like, share, and subscribe to my content. I'll get back to you on another video. Oh, and before I leave, always remember, to be informed is not to be woke. Stay conscious, my friends.